closed games out and won by perhaps the margin they should have done, or with the emphaticness that they should have done, and maybe that helps St Helens out. But that same performance against Wyre, and I don't think they've got a tremendous amount of people coming back. Doesn't imbue me with confidence. I wouldn't want to be flying a Burpee on if I was St Helens fan this weekend, apart from to enjoy the sun and have a few beers. I'm going to go St Helens. So I'm going to go Cal.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't know what just happened then. There was a beep. Did you get one of your fat fingers all over the buttons or something?
No, my fat fingers have been off the buttons the entire time.
Anyway, yeah, I'm going to go with what you were saying in terms of Catalan have a struggle to really hammer what advantages seem to think they should have home. So I'm going to go 28 points to 16 in favour of Catalan. They'll win, but it won't be spectacular. I think maybe the trip away will do St Helens good, a chance to recharge, a chance to hopefully address things internally better than they appear to have been addressing things externally in terms of what's going wrong here, because this is a team that keeps defending fucking awful, really bad defence. That Sandow try that you were talking about just emphasises that sort of level of defence we've been seeing from them, and I hope that they'll get tougher, because it's a better Super League with a better performing St Helens side than we've had in the last couple of months. I just don't think that they've got it in them to beat a Catalan side who just win ugly a lot of the time at home. Okay. Final game, I said 28-16, didn't I? Final game of the round then is Huddersfield versus Wakefield, the first Sunday game in Super League for a couple of weeks. And two sides who could do with a win after disappointing results the weekend before, Tom. What do you reckon?
This was the hardest prediction of the week for me, because it's still way back for Wakefield from that performance, but that prior to them being out of the other game sorted out, they were doing really well, and it was still vital because they've been strength to dreams too. I'm going to go 2 points in favour of the home team. I'm going to go 26 points to 4. I think it'll be close. I think it'll be exciting. On a sunny afternoon, I think there'll be some points in it. I'm just going to go in favour of Huddersfield, I think, to get the result. Just take pure on gut, really, because if you're going on almost the last 10 games, you'd think Wakefield, but I just wonder whether or not performance last weekend, the here's some of their players are going to be leaving and not being around next season, maybe that's had an uncertain effect.
What's the score that you said, sorry, Tom?
Sorry, 28 points to 26.
28-26?
28-26, 2 points in it.
Right, okay, I'm going to go Huddersfield winning by a slightly larger margin. Now, I don't know if it's the Wakefield fans have got into my head with the sort of doom mongering that they were sort of coming up with after in their reviews, but I'm going to go 26-18 for Huddersfield.
Okay.
Obviously, Huddersfield have had the big blow that Ike Hihifo is going to be out for maybe a couple of months, back for the middle eight.
How hard is that, by the way? I didn't know he broke his jaw.
So did he play on with it for a bit?
Yeah, he thought he had toothpaste. There was an article knocking about. He thought he finished the game with a broken jaw and complained that he had I've got a bit of toothache after that hit. We didn't even know he broke his jaw.
Well, he has got a big head.
Or hard as a coffee nail.
Yeah. I just think Huddersfield, though. I mean, Wakefield, if they defend against people like Murphy and Cudjoe and McGilvery, like they defended against the Hull KR players, there's going to be points scored for those Huddersfield players. You'd have to expect. So that's where I sort of see that one going.
Have we gone different at any point this week?
Have we gone different? I don't believe we have.
No, you weren't the same as the ones, didn't you?
Yeah, so it's all going to be based on margins, Tom, this week.
Yeah.
Last week, on all 5 of my correct predictions, I predicted within the I've got margin points on them all, so that's why I won the yellow cap really. So we'll see how we go.
No, I saw that you smashed it up every credit.
Yeah. Okay. So if you are out and about at a game, particularly on the Friday night where there's a few games, everyone should get on board with our friends at SL Clubs. They'll give you all the updates as the games are going along and get the final scores into you as fast as anyone out there on Twitter. So check out at SL Clubs. Okay, moving on to the Championship, Tom. Are you still there? Yeah. Championship game of the week. I've gone with Lee versus Featherstone, Tom, because both had big, decent wins at the weekend and both were in the top 4 as it stands. So, what do you reckon the outcome of this one will be?
I'm happy not to be the goals this weekend. I don't have to the other results. So, that's a legitimate championship game of the week, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. I mean, they've had some, they've played in finals in recent times. They've had some humdingers of matches between the two. Featherstone, last time they played a big game was obviously the Halifax one at the Bash, and they got obliterated. I'm sure they'll want to bounce back from that. And Lee are just the best side in the league at the moment, with all the Super League loan players contributing strongly.
Yeah, no, you've got to take your hat for the way that the club was running so really when you spent the last 2 or 3 months, really. You've gone from kind of being this comedy sort of side with lots of talent and comedy owning great balances for disappearing at the face of the earth. They've signed some really good players. I think they're a better position, and I think they're a better outfit than they were this time 12 months ago. I'm almost inclined to say that they'll go up this season, and perhaps inevitably so. I don't see the wheels coming off the league against the Featherstone side that are admittedly doing, very well, but part-time going to the league. They are on raging as this form. This is only by 20 points. This is league 30%, easy line.
Fair enough, I agree that Lee will win probably by 2 or 3 scores. League 1 game of the week is York versus Hunslet. York backed up the loss at the iPro final in Blackpool with 2 wins this week, Tom. So obviously a side in form. Hunslet are trying to rise up the table after a pretty tough start to life back down in League 1. What do you reckon on this one?
Next one, with the League 1 Cup final taken out of the equation, is really, really strong. But then you put an end to what, didn't he beat someone like Rochdale, who they beat this week as well? Now, York is too strong. This is going to be York by a million, surely.
I think it's going to be York too. I don't think it'll be a hammering. I think... I don't know if those 3 games in a week, there might be a little bit of hangover on that in terms of effect on their training regime this week and that sort of stuff. It's going to be tough training this week anyway, after a hard day of work and then running around in this heat. So there might be a little bit of effect on them, a lag from all that effort they've put in recently. So I don't think it'll be by a million, but I think it'll be York in a close-ish one. Probably 26 points to 20, that sort of margin, I would guess.
Fantastic. So what stands out in your NRL this weekend, Mark?
Well, I've gone with the Broncos versus Raiders on Thursday. That's obviously got quite a bit of Brit interest. You'll have Jack Reed doing his stuff for the Broncos, and you'll have Dally M leader and all-round star performer Hodgson, as well as Elliot Whitehead, who's going great guns as well for the Raiders. Then on Monday, no British interest in this one. Probably the first time I picked out a non-British game other than the State of Origin for a while, Tom, but it's your Sharkies who are top of the league against the Cowboys, who have now slumped to 3rd place in the table and are a few points off the leaders. Of course, they haven't had the bye, which in the NRL inexplicably means you get 2 points. Why they all just don't get no points for the week that they don't play, I do not know. But anyway, the Sharks and the Cowboys on Monday, Tom, which hopefully I'll be able to squeeze in watching before we do the show next week, or maybe I can have it on whilst we're doing the show, because that should be a cracker.
6 games in a row, Sharkies have been playing on a Monday, because I missed the Bays victory as well, and I'm going to miss next week's win over the Cowboys, because I'll be at work. I saw that one quietly on Twitter, but no, it's nice to have a dog in the fight that's winning, even though it's 20,000 miles away.
It's almost surprising because I've not watched much of the Sharks this year. They're the team that I don't tend to watch because I've never in the past really enjoyed them that much. But they must be playing some good stuff, I assume.
They've got some exciting young dynamic players. But Ben Batter isn't young, the guys like Ben Batter, Al Hose, like that. But I like watching the pass as much as anything else. I like watching Paul Gallen playing guys like that, Heinsohn, and
what, really boring workaday slog horses?
Yeah, it's exciting times. Who wouldn't want the chance to win a premiership and to go all the way? They've been waiting a long, long time there in Brunel, so yeah, it's exciting times.
Right, good stuff. Okay, so that wraps up our previews and predictions for next week's games. All that is left for us is to say goodbye to Tom and to wrap up the show. Okay guys, Tom's ducked off again, and that just leaves me to wrap up the show. It's going to be the shortest wrap up that we've ever had. I'm sure we'll have plenty to recommend next week after a couple of weeks of activity, and who knows, if you guys come up with anything funny, we'll also have a tweet of the week. What I will say is keep getting in touch with us. The Google form will be up as always for match reviews from Thursday until around about 9 or 10 p.m. on a Sunday night. So get in touch with those. See the links posted out on Facebook and Twitter regularly over the weekend. You can get in touch with us on Twitter at Super League Pod. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/Super League Pod. Obviously, keep listening out for the show. RL Internet Radio is back up and running as well, so if you like catching the show on there, along with our podcast friends like Devil in the Detail and League Culture and White Line Fever and all of those great guys, then get on board there. I'm hopeful that the stream's running okay, I'm told now. So you should be able to catch up on our shows again over there. And if you don't catch up on that, then check out the League Culture podcast from this month, or also get onto the boys Devil in the Detail. Search for those guys on Twitter. You'll find out all you need to know about where to find their stuff. And if you want to read our blog, there's still some posts up there, nothing new, but if you've not been for a while, there's some that you might not have read. So that's over at superleaguepod.blogspot.co.uk. And all that's left really is to thank you for being on board. I apologise, it's not been the normal running order of things, but obviously me and Tom still wanted to get this going, even though we were on one of us was on holiday, because we had plenty to get through, and I've hoped you've enjoyed it. And get in touch next week with your Yorkshire or Lancashire teams, depending on what rose you wear upon your chest, and we will hear from you next week on the Super League Pod.
Good stuff. Okay, buddy. I don't know what this sound quality is a bit like, but thank you for letting me come on anyway.
Tom, it's your podcast as much as it's mine. There's no need to thank me for letting you come on your podcast.
No, I know. Like, it was starting to make you like, right, I'm not speaking on the then. I want your podcast.